Hello, all, and welcome back to learning more interesting facts about physiology and exercise. So, today we will be talking about our body composition. Have you ever been in PE class or just taking sports, things of that nature, and let's say the PE teacher or coach pulls out one of those pinchy things that come out and pinch you real tight, and they tell you how much fat you have? Or if you take your weight and they take your height and then they give you something called a BMI. So these are essentially things or techniques that are to measure some type of body composition in the body. So the skin fold that when they pinch is measuring fat. When they take your BMI, essentially they are trying to see what your body ratio is, your weight to height ratio, in order to make sure that you're in a healthy range, or so to speak. There are a couple of methods out there. There is BIA, which is bioelectrical impedance analysis. There is essentially underwater weighing. There is the DEXA scan. There's the skin fold, as we just spoke on. And there are these different techniques and ways that we can look at body composition. However, some are better than others, especially in most cases. Others can be more accurate. Others can tend to be a little bit skewed depending on the technique of the person. And then other factors such as hydration, environment, age, gender, again, human error, excuse me, and just the way the technique itself is being done. So for example, a skin fold analysis, the one that is pinched, versus, let's say, a DEXA machine. The DEXA obviously is going to be a lot more reliable and accurate because of one, human error, and two, it gives you a deeper breakdown of what's going on within the body. So bouncing off of that, today we are going to primarily talk on DEXA. DEXA is short for dual energy X-ray, please excuse me if I butcher this, absorptometry. So the DEXA machine essentially is what in research or in science in general in today's world is considered the gold standard, or the go-to when it comes to researching, testing, medical field, even dealing with athletes, pro athletes, or even collegiate athletes, to get the most accurate and reliable results needed. So with DEXA, the thing is with DEXA is that you need to be highly trained in order to use the machine, because DEXA, it does beam some sort of radiation to a person, hence the X-ray part. Although it's not as high intense as other machines such as CT scans, actual X-rays, and things of that nature, it is still radiation. Low dosage, but radiation. So what DEXA does is it basically shoots these X-ray beams at the person who is being scanned. And essentially these X-rays will go through the body, and depending on what source in the body it hits, so bone, muscle, tissue, anything else you could think of, it's going to give a different density, and you're able to get a percentage of what is there. With DEXA has become the gold standard because of its, again, reliability, variability, and it's extremely accurate and more convenient than what previously the gold standard was. We call essentially underwater weighing. And The thing is with underwater weighing, not everybody likes to be underwater. Not everybody likes the water. It's kind of inconvenient, whereas with the DEXA, it's a lot less inconvenient. You know, you take off all your jewelry, you take off anything metal. Same procedures if you are going to do an actual X-ray. Take all that off, and then you get hooked up to a machine. It runs through. They scan you, and boom, they get your results. Again, the things that can throw off a DEXA scan, especially, you kind of see it through all of the body composition measuring methods. The main one is hydration. Excuse me. The main one is hydration. If a person recently just worked out, and then also nutrition. So let's say if someone went and they had a high fatty meal right before taking a DEXA, that is going to affect it because that also affects hydration status. And, excuse me. And then things like hydration will affect, you know, your muscles, because your muscles absorb a lot of water. They need water. That's why if you want to get pumped or get big, it's important to drink water. That's where the size of your muscles really come from the water. It's just really important to make sure that you just go in clean, cut, make sure, you know, you're at a normal, essentially almost like dry weight in a sense. Not dry weight per se, as you don't want to go in if you're not being dehydrated, but when you go in to take, for example, your physical, you don't want to go in basically drinking alcohol or go in, let's say you drink a ton of water. They want to see where your baseline is at. So more than likely, they're gonna have you fast and take the samples first thing in the morning, so that way they can get your baselines. DEXA is pretty much similar. You want to be at the same level. So I'm just gonna go ahead and conclude this off. DEXA is a great tool in research. It's a great tool for college athletes. It's a great tool for pro athletes. If you have the money to do a DEXA scan, I would advise some of you to take a DEXA scan if you ever get the chance. Very reliable. And it'd also be something that I think would be just interesting to do in Siege, because it gives you a little bit more detailed variation of how you are, whereas things like BMI don't give you that. Because, for example, I've played sports all my life. I've always had a higher BMI. Typically, I would be overweight by standards, but I have very low body fat. I have a lot of muscle, so I'm pretty dense. So my weight is going to be a lot higher than the average person. But with that being said, I do thank you for listening. Remember, just be careful when you are doing a body comp. And when you are doing body comp, what's important is not, the numbers are important, yes, but what's more important is the trend that you're seeing. So for example, if you're trying to lose weight or lose body fat, if you do a skin fold and if you do a BIA, as long as that number is going down, that trend is what you want to see. But you don't want to see two varying different numbers, because then you know that either one, something's not being measured right, or it's just really hard to see the results that you're trying to see. So thank you for joining in.